Welcome to this morning yoga for your vagus nerve. This is a great class to help you meet all those little challenges of your daily life so that you don't go into sympathetic activation and stay there for a long time. In fact, we're going to work with something really interesting called the vagal break in this class so that you can venture into sympathetic activation and then easily come back into vagal tone so that all those times those challenges of your day-to-day life come up, it's easy to travel through the nervous system flexibly and come back into ease and calm and connection and see all the possibilities and the choices that you have in your life. So you can do this first part either seated or lying down. We're just going to become more familiar with your nervous system and your vagus nerve. You're going to start by placing your right hand at the base of your neck. And your left hand is going to trace your vagus nerve, the side of your neck, around to your throat, down through your heart and your digestive system. So let's do that again. We'll just trace it again on this side. Down the left side of your neck to your throat, down through your heart and your lungs, and then to your digestive system. And let's switch hands so that your left hand sits at the base of your skull, at your brain stem. And then you'll go with your right hand down the side of your neck to your throat, to your heart, to your lungs and your diaphragm and your digestive system. Let's trace this again. You're going to go down the side of your neck to your throat, your heart, your lungs, diaphragm, and your digestive system. So just so you know the vagus nerve, your wandering nerve, where that is in your body as we're going through the class. Now I want you to now just tune into where your dorsal nerve is. So you're going to place one hand at the base of your skull and one hand on your abdomen, and we'll just breathe here. This is what nourishes your digestive system. This is below your diaphragm. So your diaphragm sort of sits at the base of your rib cage here, and it regulates healthy digestion. And this is, where we experience, if we experience digestive problems, is because our nervous system has gone into survival mode, in conservation mode, and then everything slows down, including our digestion. So I just want you to know that like below your diaphragm is that dorsal area. It's the digestion area. Now you can maybe just change your hands just for a little bit of a variation. So that the right hand or the opposite hand is at the base of the skull, and you're going to place the other hand on your heart. And this is the ventral vagus pathway. This is our pathway for regulation and connection. Regulation and connection. So anything above the diaphragm here. So your heart, your lungs, your throat, your ears, your face, all of this is your ventral vagus connection. And then this is where you get to feel safe. This is where you self-regulate and where you co-regulate with others, so you connect with others as well. When you're in your ventral vagus activation, then your heart rate is regulated, your breathing is natural and full because your lungs and your heart are here. You look at your friends, you look at the faces of your friends and your family, you tune into conversations, you're able to tune out distractions. You're able to acknowledge distress, explore the options. So when you're in ventral activation, it's like you can see that you have lots of choices. If you go into sympathetic activation and you get angry and stressed and anxious, you feel self-critical, it feels like you have no choices. But when we're in ventral vagus activation state, we feel like we have lots of choice. So for example, I'll give you an example of this. When my daughter was going to write an exam, and she knew she needed pencils and erasers, fresh ones for exam. Normally she does all her work on her iPad, but for exams you have to do this stuff on paper still, right? So she doesn't really have them. So she was running all over the house trying to find pencils and erasers, which, we're a really digital family. We really don't have this stuff lying around. And the only choice she could think was to find pencils and erasers in the home. And so because she was in stress mode and sympathetic activation, she was in this really scarcity mindset. That was the only choice. But because I was in ventral mode and she had enough ventral mode to ask for help, I was able to say, here's $10, or here's my debit card, go to the university bookstore and buy some new pencils and erasers for the exam, right? So we tend to have a feeling of lots of choice when we're in ventral activation. We reach out to others for support. We can offer support to others when we're regulated. It's a great space to be in. When we're in ventral vagus activation, we're able to connect with ourselves. That feeling of being able to know what's happening inside you. We're able to connect with each other. We're able to connect with our environment, with nature, with spirit, with animals. So today we're going to focus on our ventral vagus system, but also we're going to connect on a really specific part of it called the vagal brake. And what this does is it allows us to release the vagal brake so that we have energy to go into sympathetic activation, so that we have energy to do things in our day. So you can think about this letting off the brake, like if you were to release the emergency brake on a car so it could go roll down a hill, so that you can move into action. But then we can also put it back on. So if the rolling down the hill was too much, you could stop the car again. So we're going to learn how to do that brake. Basically, every time you inhale, and we can do this right now, inhale, it's like releasing the brake. It gives you a little bit of energy. And every time you exhale, you put the brake back on, and it gives you a little bit more ease and relaxation. So your vagal brake works to speed up your heart rate and slow down your heart rate. And this probably, if you've been practicing yoga for any length of time, isn't any news to anybody. As you inhale, your heart rate speeds up, and as you exhale, your heart rate slows down, but you might not have known how that ties into vagal connection. So with each breath in, your vagal brake releases, and you get a little bit of heart rate increase, and you're able to go into sympathetic activation. But just as easily as you breathe out, your vagal brake turns on, and you're able to slow down your heart rate and come back into vagus connection so that you can come into ease, calm, lots of choice. So the point is that we're never going to always be in ventral vagus activation. It's important that we're able to move in and out of it. And in this class, we're going to practice both. And a little story is coming to my mind of this. When we were, of the way this works, using the car brake analogy again. When we were really little kids, I have 3 younger sisters. We had this little car, a little Honda, like a Civic, but they used to be little tiny bubbles in the 80s when they first came out. And my mom left us all in the car, went into a store. And then it was sympathetic activation. We were playing. Part of sympathetic activation is play. We were playing in the car, kicking and screaming, and you can imagine what happened. We kicked the brake off. And so then the car started rolling. Then we were really screaming and acting. So what happened was my mom ran out of the store and pulled the brake on. And once you pull the brake on, so then there was that connection, that safety again, the car stopped rolling and everybody calmed down. And, like we all came back together, everybody's hugging and crying and everybody's happy again, right? So that's exactly how the ventral vagal brake works. That story's probably never going to go out of your head now when you think about the vagal brake. So that's the vagal brake. We're going to go through poses and actually practice it, moving with it with the inhale and the exhale. So we're going to start on our backs with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor with some windshield wiper legs. We'll really be doing it more with our standing postures, but we'll move towards it as we go along. Okay, so on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, we're going to do some windshield wiper poses. And for this, I really want you to focus on your inner thighs, opening up the inner thighs and releasing the hips. We'll put the ventral vagus brake, the vagal brake aside just for a little bit. It doesn't work that great for this pose, but we'll be using it throughout the class, don't you worry. And then come back to center. Cross your right leg over your left, your right ankle over your left thigh. Draw your left thigh in, and you can hold on behind your knee or on your shin. You want to feel sensation on the outside of your right knee. And we can play with the ventral brake here. You can inhale, draw it in a little bit more. So we're releasing the ventral brake here, causing a little bit more stress for our body, and then we can exhale. Release and feel the ease in our body. So inhale, a little bit more stress in the body. Exhale, release and feel the ease coming back to ventral. Inhale. Feel that sympathetic activation. Exhale, soften. Inhaling, releasing the ventral brake. Exhaling, putting that ventral brake back on. So let's try that on the other side. So knowing that you can always move flexibly through your nervous system. So your left ankle is going to cross over your right thigh now. And we'll do that again. We'll inhale, we'll increase the intensity. So we're releasing the ventral brake. And then we're exhaling and we're softening. And we're putting that ventral brake back on. And just pay attention to activation, relaxation. Notice what it feels like in your body. And ideally, we want to notice how we can stay regulated as we come into a little bit more stressful state. So that when we come off our mats, we can do that as well when the challenges of our life come at us. Okay, from here, you're going to roll over onto your stomachs. Okay, so just to prepare for some frog pose, I'm just going to bring your right leg up to the side. And you're going to inhale, release that vagal brake. And exhale, soften. Inhale, release the vagal brake. Exhale, put the vagal brake back on. Inhale, release the vagal brake. Exhale, put the vagal brake back on.
Inhale, release the vagal brake. Exhale, put it back on.
And then let's do that on the other side.
Okay, let's bring the left other leg up. So you're going to inhale, release the ventral brake. And exhale, put the ventral brake back on. So moving smoothly between our nervous system, through our nervous system. Inhale, activation. Exhale, ease. And then you can lower that down.
And if you have knee issues, you could stay with that variation rather than coming into full frog pose for the next variation, especially if you have knee issues on the insides of your knees. We're going to come up into full frog pose. So you're going to come onto the insides of your knees, and you're actually going to lean forward, exhale, and then you're going to inhale, come back. Okay, and do make sure you're pressing your elbows into the ground here. So we're going to inhale, lean back into frog. Exhale, come back into our safe place. Inhale, come back into that place where we're a little bit more activated. Then exhale, put that vagal brake on again. Inhale, release the brake. Exhale. A little more safety. And then you can release frog pose from your body. And if you're anything like me, there might not have been too much difference. You might have been more in sympathetic activation the whole time, which is why, so I came out of this and I feel myself like reaching out to you for connection in this, right? That's my way of returning to safety and calm after frog pose, right? So just notice what's happening for you. Frog pose, like my least favorite yoga pose, one of them. Okay, here we go. Moving on into cat pose. If you have wrist issues like me, you can always come down onto your forearms here. And we're going to inhale, arch our backs to release that vagal brake. And then you're going to exhale round, and the vagal brake will be engaged again. Inhale to feel alert but still regulated. Exhale and feel a little bit more safety. Inhale, release the brake to meet the need for energy. Exhale to put that brake on. And feel that when you feel the need for more ease. So inhaling and arching, that sympathetic activation. Exhaling the brake, and the vagus nerve is engaged. Inhale. And exhale. And then walk your hands back to your knees. You're going to come up. And you're going to walk your left foot forward. So you're going to Inhale, lean forward, release that vagal break. Exhale, lean back, coming back into that sense of a little bit more ease. And then you're going to switch legs. And we're going to do the same thing. So we inhale, release the brake. Exhale, put the brake back on. Okay, we're going to come standing up, and we're going to do this vagal break in some Warrior One and Goddess Victory Squat now. Okay, we're going to come into a Warrior One pose, so take a step back and sink down through your front hip. You're going to come up, and we're actually going to inhale to sink into it. Turn on that vagal break, and then we're going to exhale to come out of it. Inhale to sink into it. Exhale to come out of it. Inhale, activate. Exhale, ease. Inhale, action. Exhale, less action. Inhale. Feel yourself engage, but still regulated. Exhale. Feel yourself come back to safety. Okay, so we're going to do this on the other side. So switch the legs. So we find our stance by coming into that Warrior One first. The legs first, sink, and then straighten the legs, bring the arms up. Then we inhale, we bring our arms out to the side, engage the muscles between your shoulder blades at the back. That's the inhale. Releasing the brake. Exhale, turning that vagal brake back on. Inhale, releasing the brake so that we can come into that sympathetic activation. Exhale, softening, coming back into that vagal zone of safety. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Open. Exhale. Ease. Inhale. Exhale. And then you can release. Shake that out. And we're going to, do another variation. Okay. So coming into Warrior One legs, you're going to inhale, open your arms, so you've got cactus arms. And then you're going to exhale, cross your arms, turn into yourself. Okay? So we're going to inhale, activate. Exhale, put that vagal brake back on, connect with yourself. Inhale, sympathetic activation. Exhale, vagal brake comes back on. And then let's switch sides. So coming into Warrior One on the other side. And then we're going to exhale into that place of safety. And we're going to inhale, open activation. Exhale, safety. Inhale, release the vagal brake. Exhale, vagus. Inhale, sympathetic activation. Exhale, vagal. Brake comes on. Inhale, sympathetic activation. Exhale, ease. Inhale, movement. Okay, you can release that. We'll just shake it out. We've got one more for you. We're going to come into Warrior One stance, and we're going to lean back. So you start with your Warrior One, you're going to lean back. That's going to be your vagal brake. And then you're going to inhale, pull your arms back. That's activation. Exhale, lean back. Lean forward, pull your arms back. Exhale, lean back. Inhale. Let's do that on the other side. So starting in a Warrior One stance, and then we're going to lean back with the arms forward. Inhale, activation, vagal brake. Release the brake, ease. And then you can release that from your body. Okay. From here, you're going to turn your toes out. So you're coming into Goddess Victory Squat. So you're going to inhale, activation, exhale, brake. And then you're going to inhale, take your hands behind your head. We're going to leave that activation on for a bit. We're going to side bend. And come up. Let's take our feet in. And let's come into a standing forward fold just to give ourselves a chance to have that vagal brake come on again. And then we're going to roll back up to standing. And then you're going to pause here in the center. And you're going to take your feet out again for Goddess Victory Squat. Take your hands in prayer position. You're going to inhale. You're going to exhale. You're going to come into Goddess Victory Squat. And we're going to stay in that kind of more activated position again. We're going to exhale, rotate. So we're keeping the brake released for a bit. So that's how it is in life sometimes too. You don't just do release, brake, release, brake, release, brake like we've been doing. Sometimes the brake is released for a while. And then we're going to come back up. We put the brake back on. Bring our feet together. We'll come into a standing forward fold again with the intention of having that break on. Nice long, smooth exhalations. And then from here, you can either do knees to chest pose on your back or come into a full malasana squat here to just pause and come into more ventral activation. Just to come into that regulated state before you rest into Shavasana. And then if there's any other movements you'd like to take before Shavasana, you can go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, you can come and rest back into Shavasana. So lying on your back in a position that is comfortable for you. Remembering the teachings from today, so inhaling releases that ventral break so that you can deal with the demands of your day that are coming up after your morning yoga class. And exhaling, each exhale takes you back into that ventral break that makes it easier for you to connect, have ease, be resilient, to have choice. It makes it easier to deal with the demands of the day. So today, my poem for you is called Self-Care by James Crew. Some days it feels like a foreign language I'm asked to practice with new words for happiness, work, and love. I'm still learning how to say a cup of tea for no reason, what to call the extra honey I drizzle in, how to label the relentless urge to do more and more as poison, and how to translate the heart's pounding message when it comes, enough, enough. This morning I searched for words to capture the glimmering sun as it lifts above the mountains, clouds already closing in as fat droplets of rain darken the deck. I'm learning to call this stillness self-care too, just standing here, watching goldfinches scatter up from around the feeder like pieces of bright yellow stained glass, resembling in the sheltering arms of a maple. So take one more nice deep exhalation and find your ventral break. You can wiggle and stretch out. And thank you so much for joining me for this class. I would really love it and appreciate it if you gave the class a thumbs up, and you can share it with anybody you think that would like it. And if you put, with each breath out, I find my ventral break in the comments, that would be fantastic as well. Thank you for practicing today. Each time you come into ventral regulation, it allows you to co-regulate with somebody else, which means that you help other people meet the everyday demands of their life and make better choices. So you're making the world a better place by finding your ventral break, being able to release your break, go into sympathetic, be more flexible, come back into ventral again. You're just all making the world a better place, and I really appreciate you for practicing this yoga and having such flexible nervous systems.